Yeah. All right, we already got one in the room. How we doing? So, let's go over a pretty dark topic, and that is VIP pedo networks. Okay? So, everybody now knows of the infamous Jimmy Savile, and also now the accusations against Sir Edward or Ted Heath, the guy that signed the UK onto the European Union, by the way. Okay? So, Carl Beach is a guy that I gotta tell you, I don't know a ton about. However, he had accused Savile, I don't want to mispronounce it, and I believe his father, who was a military officer, of abusing him. And then other allegations by him also were recorded and came out. And basically, it was a lot of this network that people like David Icke, et cetera, had talked about. Come on, Carm, this side. Let's swap it out. Sorry about that. Carm, come on. Sorry. Oh. Anyway, so today, Beach was found guilty on 12 counts. Now, one of the things I didn't like about this from the get-go is, number one, apparently Beach himself was a pedo. He had abused people, okay? Now, it's not uncommon for those that were abused to then abuse. Two, they kept talking about like a embezzlement scheme or some kind of fraud before that to try to discredit him. I wasn't so sure about that thing, okay? I don't know, again, if that takes away from his allegations. However, he's going to be spending the next 18 years of his life in prison. So the question is, was this guy telling the truth and then, got the screw job, got smeared in the media, and now found guilty of 12 counts and doing 18 years? Or the flip side of that, is he somebody that kind of poisoned the well, in that there has been many credible accounts of abuse with many of the names that he also named, okay? So then what happens? Well, somebody comes out and, first of all, there's a few things that happen. Those that know that they're guilty are going to try to put out as much disinformation as possible. So sometimes it could help them. For instance, if an accuser comes out, and of course they've done nothing to this person, and then they can be discredited, and so they say, see, I told you so. That's a possibility. And there's also the possibility of somebody glomming onto a story, or going around and doing this for donations, for money, for recognition. Aside from the fact that we live in kind of a fame-based, attention-based society, right? And by the way, I think that was a big theme in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, for those that are watching or didn't get to watch live and coming back now. But at the same time, I don't know that I got that vibe from Beach, okay? So did he get railroaded? Was he there to poison the well? Was he doing it for some kind of compensation? I really doubt it. I don't know. It's a tough one to call, but we definitely should look at all aspects of that. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit about Roy Cohn and his connection to the Epstein case, possibly, and this network through that Mint Press article many people have sent me and say, why haven't you covered this? Why haven't you covered this? I'm going to have Whitney Webb on. Let me repeat that. I'm going to have Whitney Webb on. And what's really interesting is it involves a guy named Craig Spence. Now, Craig Spence is actually somebody I've kind of talked about at length for some time, because he's this right-wing lobbyist. Remember, this is not about left or right. It's not about the Clintons or Trump or et cetera, et cetera. It's about right and wrong, and it's about the connections on many levels, because this goes beyond even human trafficking, for instance, right? So Craig Spence is this guy who we had written checks for call boy services for high-level players in the White House, around Washington, in different administrations, actually. You know what I'm saying? Again, these things are never about one side of politics. Powerful people have been doing this sort of stuff. Psychopaths have been doing this sort of stuff for a long time, and we need to really call them out. So Craig Spence is this guy where they have his name on checks. He's paying for these call boy escort services. It kind of comes into play also with Barney Frank and the alleged call boy ring that is running outside of his DC apartment with a guy named Stephen Gottlieb. By the way, thumbs this up and share it. I got 13 thumbs. Come on, guys. Thumbs are up. Let's get this out there. So Barney Frank gets caught, and a vice principal, I believe it was, over at Chevy Chase School, a kid's school, also gets implicated in some of this. Front page news, yada, yada, yada. You get all the way to the Franklin scandal and Lawrence King, who's singing the national anthem at the RNC at the opening ceremonies. Really bizarre stuff back in the 80s. And they're kind of grooming him to be one of their next political darlings. Really sick stuff. And a lot of people have said, Jason, that's a carefully crafted hoax. Well, tonight we're going to go over something that is not a carefully crafted hoax, and something that has the earmarks of intelligence, mind control, and the human trafficking of children written all over of it. And Derek Bros has done an amazing job of exposing the finders at the highest levels with his, he had a 2-part documentary series, and then he kind of combined it with a few updates, but it was really excellent. And again, this is something that connects to all these groups. These groups didn't just pop out of nowhere. They got their hands in everything, and that's why the military-industrial complex is so dangerous. Because those at the top of the military-industrial complex, the intelligence complex, it's more than just the track trace database society, the AI entrenched driven force of control. No, it's got sick, occultic, human trafficking, baby rape, sacrifice shit written all over it. And I am not fucking down. And that's it. These guys are the sickest of the sick. Whether you believe in what they do or believe that they practice any of this stuff, the allegations of what they've done to children alone should fucking turn your stomach to the point of action. And I think we are seeing more and more of that, thank God. And I want to thank all of you guys for that. We're doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos today. I just did one on the alleged suicide attempt of Jeffrey Epstein. We looked at all different angles, some things you're not going to see anywhere else. So go back, check that out. If you're not part of the Burmese Brigade, now's the time to subscribe, ring that bell so you get notifications. We do a lot more than just the dog walk and talks here, guys. The dog walk and talks are fun. We get to go over a lot of different subjects. Sometimes I can take your questions, but the deep dives, the real news, being on top of Epstein, Nexium, Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove, and more, that's what we're about here. So, with that being said, if you can, I also got a GoFundMe. That's how I'm doing this on the regular. You get 5, 10, 15 bucks. Thank you. If not, I totally understand. Just share my stuff. Get the word out. I will see you guys all on the flip side.